Here's the here's your coffee reality. This started in the decade that I was born. So 1970s. Women were at home. The husband could raise 2 kids, a dog, a white picket fence, pay for his house, put his kids in college. She stayed home. Sounds glorious, right? It was. It was. In some regards. I mean, of course, it wasn't until the 80s that a single woman could apply for a business loan. It wasn't until the 80s. So now a woman is in the workplace and they're like, you know what? Now that she's working, we should give her the right to make money because, see, they reduced the standards. Well, let me rephrase that. They didn't reduce the standards. They reduced the pay to keep those standards. So the woman entered the workforce, 1970s. By the 1980s, it was the thing. We talked about women coming from out of the home to the workforce. You got this? The 80s. Okay? Now you've shifted. You got 2 people to have the house, the 2 kids, the dog, the white picket fence. Took 2 people to have the same dream. So now we're in the 90s. Okay? Now we're in the 90s. 2 people working 2 jobs, taking on credit debt, refinancing their home in order to have a house, a picket fence, 2 kids, and a dog. Now we're in the 2000s. We're in the 2000s. Now, a lot of these people got locked in on variable interest rates. So the housing market crash came. Then you've got 2 people working 2 jobs, taking on credit card debt, 2 kids, a dog, renting a house. And they stopped sending kids to college already. We stopped doing that in the 90s. Now we've got this real big push of student aid. And if your parents can't afford it, because they used your parents, maybe they still do. Use your parents. So now you're taking on this very liberal free credit for college. We're in the 2000s now. In the 2000s. And the housing market crash, well, that started, so Trump said he made all of his money in 2006. It's at the beginning of the housing market crash. Now, I'm not going to explain to you. I've made other videos, and I think on my other YouTube or on my other TikTok account, I've really walked through that. But we're gonna keep this to, we're gonna bring this to 2025 here in a minute. So you got 2 people working 2 jobs, taking on credit card debt. They refinance their home to where it wasn't, well, they end up selling it because they made money, and then they end up going rental because they couldn't afford the whole thing. The whole thing was just getting to be too expensive. So they just, and then BlackRock and all them, they bought up all them houses. See, when Trump made all his money at the beginning of the housing market crash, he had interest on that collapse. He got paid because of the housing market. So the further the collapse, the more they got paid out. They're doing the same thing right now, but neither here nor there. So now we get up there to, 2020. See, now what we're talking about is the erasing of the middle class. Completely erasing the middle class. Now, there's a reason why they did this. See, it's cleaning separation, them against us. The 1% against the 99%. Now, you may not want to accept this, and that's fine. Just so we're clear, I'm a registered Republican, but at this point, I like my eagle fire roasted on one of them little turning crank things, fire roasted on an open fire, the whole eagle. And when it's done, I'm going to eat both the left and the right side, just so we're clear. Just so we're clear, darling. So, erase the middle class. I mean, it gets more and more and more and more and more and more erased every day. Now, I'm going to just pause here for just a bit. This still holds true. What I'm about to say still holds true. Democrats are for the people, the employee, for workers' rights. The Republicans are about corporations, companies, big money. That's why Trump is trying to remove all these regulations so that they can make it more difficult for them down here, and that they can make more money and they can pay them less. Now, you may not want to accept this, but they are trying to bring back child labor. I mean, if you're not knowing this, you should start paying attention to some of the laws they're trying to pass, okay? Or have passed, like in Florida. So, remember that 2 jobs? Some of you are working 3 jobs. In an apartment that you can't afford. A dog. Most of you sent your dog off to the pound, the Humane Society in 2020 because you couldn't afford it. A lot of you did. So you got 2 people working 2, sometimes 3 jobs, living in an apartment, and now they can't raise kids. They can't afford it. I mean, they can't even raise kids. You think they're going to send them to college? Are you kidding me? No dog. They're just out there going, what are we doing with our life? This is the millennials now. And Gen Z's coming in the alpha generation. That's where they're at. And then, in 2025, they've convinced all of you who are accepting this to just suffer a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. You just got to suffer a little bit more and it'll be worth it. Just keep hanging on. I mean, they were going to change the prices day 1. We're 4 months in. Oh, it's getting worse. Worse. Now we're looking at empty shelves. Now, you can blame this on Republican or Democrat all you want. But they're trying to convince you to, if you're going to be a real American, just got to tighten that belt just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. You can't afford housing. You can't even afford bread. You can't afford the circus, which they were supposed to make sure you could afford the bread and circus. Marie Antoinette said, let them eat cake. See, remember, they're supposed to let them have bread and a circus. And Marie Antoinette said, let them have cake instead. Do you know how that went? And what did Kellogg say? Let them have breakfast cereal for supper. Now, in this same time span of 50 years, China was used by both sides to erase the middle class. So China took that money and they raised every single one of their citizens up. Meanwhile, Western culture, the United States, removed everybody from the middle. While China lifted everyone up in that same 50 years, America lowered every single body's standard of living except for the 1%. Capitalism has never been on our side. Never. They have an invested interest in creating war because war, they play both sides. Just like Biden fed Pakistan, Trump is feeding India. They just play both sides for war. Because war, the United States makes the machinery for war. Time to wake up. Time to wake up. Origin Stories of Humanity is my other TikTok, and I suggest watching my 3 pinned videos for a start. Ta-ta.